Hey, everybody. Welcome today to our podcast. I'm RABISHEIKH. We're here with Arabia, and we are going to discuss something that is, this opportunity is absolutely great. But we are going to watch, we are going to watch a video, okay? And when we watch this video, I want you all to really just pay attention to the video and we're going to comment about it afterwards. Because we've discussed with you our laws about our economy and how our one pocket system works. Well, we're going to have now someone else explain it to you and you'll see where they got it from because we're Israelites, okay? There's no question about it. But they're going to tell you how their system works, and and this is where they got it from. They got it from our laws. But take a look at this video.
Today I'm going to be discussing the Jewish circular economy. A lot of people have said that Jewish people are good at business. Now, instead of me calling this anti-Semitism, I'm going to double down and say, heck yeah, we're good at business. Let me teach you some of the secrets that we've accumulated over the past 3,000 years. This being one of the biggest and baddest secrets that we have. You're going to want to stay until the very end of this video because that's when it's going to all start to make sense. And you're going to be able to apply this not only to yourself, but your community and everybody around you. My name is Beryl Solomon. If this is your first time on my page, please hit the subscribe button. Please leave me a like. Please leave me a comment so that we could be connected more often. Let's jump in. The Jewish circular economy. Let me explain to you how this works. So there's a few core businesses that Jewish people are involved in. Let me first explain to you what type of businesses we go into. So one is, it's a business that has to make a lot of money. To be Jewish, it's expensive. I myself, thank God, have 5 kids, and hopefully I'll have more than 5 more. It's expensive to be a Jew, and we need to make a lot of money. So that's number one. Whatever business we go into has to be lucrative. Number two, it has to be moral. It is very rare, if ever, actually I can almost guarantee this, you will never find an Orthodox Jewish man in the strip club business. Yes, it makes a lot of money, but it is not a moral business. Let's talk about some businesses that do make a lot of money and are moral. So let's just talk about like real estate, for example, okay? Let's call real estate one of the core businesses. So here's the circular economy explained. So a Jewish man gets a real estate deal. Let's call it 200 units in the Bronx, okay, somewhere, right? And he buys the deal. First of all, the deal most likely is probably coming from a Jewish broker or one of his other Jewish friends in the real estate business. So once he secures that deal, he needs to go finance that deal. So who's the first logical person for him to pick up the phone to? A Jewish friend that is in finance, right? There's Jewish people that own banks, there's Jewish mortgage brokers, there's Jewish lenders out there. He's going to pick up the phone and he's going to call his buddy that he sees in synagogue every day because his buddy knows that he's a good guy, he trusts him, and he knows that if spit hits the fan, he knows exactly where he sits, exactly where his house is, exactly who to talk to make sure he could get through to him. So Jewish businessman is going to buy the piece of real estate. He's going to want to finance it with one of his Jewish buddies. And now he's going to have to service that piece of real estate, right? There's snow removal, there's cleaning supplies, there's construction that's going to need to be done. All of those, he's going to try to hire Jewish people and Jewish companies in order to try to fulfill this. And I'm going to explain to you all why. It's going to make sense to you, like I said, by the end, but you got to stick to the end. So now he's hired his buddies to do the construction, like I said, to do the remodeling, to do the construction supplies. Whatever it is, he's going to try to hire Jewish. And now those companies, so for example, like as I mentioned, the construction company, right? That construction company also needs services. The construction company needs accounting, it needs advertising, it needs office space, it needs all types of ancillary services. So even the direct services to the real estate, the supporting service, right? The construction company, we're just using one of them for example, he is going to try to hire Jewish people to do his indirect services. He's going to hire a Jewish business accountant. He's going to try to hire a Jewish lawyer. He's going to try to rent his office space from his buddy Shlomo, who owns the office building right next to his synagogue. You see what I mean? He's going to try to give that business to those people. And by the way, all the while, all of these people, all along the way, guess what they're all doing? Circular economy. They're taking tithes, they're taking at least 10% of their earnings, of their profits, and they're pushing it down to charity. So that means, and by the way, their own charities, their own synagogues, their own schools, their own food banks, their own disability centers. Why? Because they want to create this circular economy. Now let me tell you why. You might be watching it this far, and you might say to yourself, how is it fair? Why is it okay that they can do this, that we can do this? First of all, not only is it okay, but you're going to understand why and how you could apply this to yourself and your community going forward. So let me give you some reasons why a circular economy is good for you. So number one is, this is probably the biggest one, trust. Everybody in this circle, okay? If he has a problem with, let's say, let's say the real estate guy has a problem with the company that's supplying to him his supplies, his cleaning supplies for his building. And he has a dispute, right? So he ordered $10,000 worth of garbage bags. The garbage bags turned up faulty. Now they have a problem. So he knows, the real estate operator knows, that if he has a problem with any of the people that he's doing business with, because they are Jewish, they have common friends, they have common rabbis, they have common associates, and they will be embarrassed to screw each other. They won't mess each other up because they go to synagogue with each other. They go to school, their kids go to school with each other, right? So they're going to be very careful in order to treat each other with respect and dignity. So trust is the number one thing. Here's another thing. They think the same. Okay? A lot of times, I'll get on the phone with people from different cultures. I remember when I was the vice president of my college, and I remember people think different. We had somebody who represented the LGBT community. We had somebody who represented the African American community. We had somebody who represented the Chinese community in the school. We had the evangelical community. All of us came to the table. We were trying to make policies, and I remember we all thought very different. We all had different priorities. So they're creating this circular economy. Why? Because they think the same. And then number three is because they're a big family. We are a big family, right? So it makes sense that you should want to see the people around you succeed. It makes sense that you should want to give the business to your brother, to your neighbor, to your cousin, to your uncle. Why? Because we are taught in Judaism, and I see a lot of communities, they don't understand this, and they have to get better at this. We want to see each other succeed. We want to see each other grow because we understand. Check this out, and it's all going to start to make sense, right? I told you to watch to the end. We understand that if we're all doing well, the excess flow of all this money gets pushed down back into the community charities. So when my neighbor, my Jewish neighbor does well, and he's making a lot of money, and he now is going to donate that money to my kid's school, right? Let's say that's one of his charities, right? He's going to donate that money to my kid's school. That's good for me. My kid's going to have new whiteboards, new blackboards. He's going to have new equipment, new gyms, new whatever it is. So I want to push money, and I want to push business towards people in my economy, in my community. Why? Because my community directly benefits, and when my community is doing good, I benefit from that doing good. So this is not unique, by the way, to the Jewish community.
So that's the one pocket system.
Yes, it is.
Now, this is written in our law, right? And it's exactly what he said. You have to have, he said, they have the same faith. They think the same.
Right.
They abide under their law, right? And in abiding under their law, for their community, their rules, they have to implement this, right? So the Jewish community has its own police department, It has its own fire department. It has its own legal services, its own courts. It deals with everything self-contained. You're not going to be able to create this in America. They own the media. They own everything. They
Right.
control everything. They own the Federal Reserve banks. They own the world banks. So these people are in control over Western society, Western civilization, right? They are in every part of government. And while he said in the Jewish community, they're only allowed to have moral businesses. Well, they own media and television, and their depiction of themselves in this is always morally straight. However, for every other race of people,
Yes.
they only show demoralizing stereotypes.
Yes. Yes, they do.
They allow and they want everyone else to be demoralized, but they keep their own so that they can profit.
Right.
And you can never have any unity or any type of organization under them because
Right.
they'll destroy it.
Yes. Yes.
You see? And I mean, they work in every system in Western civilization. So there's no way. So when he sat down and said that you have to have the same faith, he's talking about a law. He's not talking about a belief system.
Right.
They give everybody else belief systems and they support you in all of your crazy beliefs. All of them. You can have all the different things. You'll never come together in unity. You'll never create community.
Right.
All right? So the Christian church has been standing since before America. Black people have never been able to create anything, and anytime they gained any traction, it was bombed.
Right.
So we're telling you, you're going to have to come out of the countries of Western controlled society to come build with us here. This is the one pocket system as given by our law. This is just the financial part. They don't do nothing else right.
Right.
We're talking about these people, they cannot perform any lawful acts from the law, any other lawful acts. They can't be the people, they can't build the temple, they can't do the service, they can't make anything lawful happen the way it's supposed to happen. They can't do any of that, right? They can't show you any literal absolute connection to the lawful practices of our law, but they can use the social system because the social system is universal. So this economic system, which you saw, is the one pocket system as explained by our law. And we're telling you, our law says to do it, but it says for us to do it, we must agree to our law and start in the place.
Right.
Right? And it says only the appointed leader would start it and would complete it. So here we are now again, starting it all over again. So we have to get re-education, start back building the community, start the community perspective. And I mean, this podcast video, if you've been on here, then you've already seen and heard the Community Perspective podcast.
Right.
And everything this guy's teaching is law, right? This whole system, the way he explains it, is law. And this is what we're talking about. We have to become self-sufficient. So first, we have to build the first buildings to at least bring the people in.
Right.
We make a supermarket. This supermarket is financing the community. It will, again, goes back into the community charity. What are buildings of our schools, the buildings of our housing units, right? The supplying of more community needs and the helping and bringing more people into the community.
Yes.
Right? Then we could facilitate our schools. A synagogue is a school. It's not a religious building.
Right.
Right? They're having meetings about everything at the synagogue, right?
Yes, they do.
So the synagogue is where they sit down. their community is run by the rabbis.
Right.
The rabbi, that word means teacher. So the teachers are the judges, and the judges are the teachers, and everybody has a level.
Right.
So I'm sitting here saying this is the one pocket system. This is what we need to do. This is the truth that's found in our law. And they're claiming it,
Mm.
right? They only can claim and show you this financial system, but they can never be the people.
Mm.
And they make sure that you are so confused. You are so divided. They ensure this because they don't want you to, should you ever rise up, then they would lose all wealth and all power, and they want global domination.
Mm.
Don't make any mistake about it, right? They could tell you to implement this circular economy. They can tell you that. They know that if you try to implement this in Western society, you won't have a leg to stand on.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way for you to. They own everything. They are in charge of everything,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? It is financed by them. I promise. Go take a look.
Mm. And they've conditioned us.
To go to them, to
Right.
ask them to do it.
Right. Get their permission. Yes.
Right? So you need a lawyer, you got to go get this lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you want to do this thing? Well, you have to go to these people. And it's the same people. They're behind the scenes on every avenue, on every turn.
Right.
And you have to decide that you have had enough and you're ready to invest and have your own, because you're going to have to build your kingdom from the ground up.
Right. And everyone's looking for it to already be established.
Right.
Then they come.
Right. You can't have it. You can't have it. You can't have it that way. Nobody's going to build it for you and then you
Right.
come.
Right.
Okay. So those who are going to build it are going to reap the benefits of building it.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be at the top by the time you get here.
Right.
They will have merited or earned their places.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Not saying you can't be successful, because we're always bringing in more people. We're always fostering them and teaching them success. But when you could have been a lot farther ahead, you're 10 steps behind and you're
Yeah.
wishing you had participated sooner.
Right.
This is the price, right? Now, because you see them already succeeding, you may want to go jump in on the bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
Go jump in on the bandwagon with them. I promise you, you'll never see the success that they have for their own kin, their own blood people. I promise you. You'll never see it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the truth about the law is every people is supposed to be using this system independently in their own lands, in their own countries. You
Right.
can visit who you like, visit and go back to your own country and take care of your own business in your own land, in your own country,
Right.
amongst your own people.
Right.
You see, so what they are doing and how they are set up, you can't succeed. I promise. You could go look,
Mm-hmm.
but this is our one pocket system, right? This is them explaining it partially, because he's not telling you what's the best way to start,
Mm-hmm.
right? They have the support of the United States, of NATO. They have the support, even in America, they have the support of the Israeli military, even in America. So if their community comes under problems, they can send the Israeli military forces into America to help defend their communities.
Wow.
We as a people don't have that. Remember the Black Panthers? Oh, they destroyed that,
Yes, they did.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that comes up with any type of militarized organization, it becomes labeled a terrorist organization. So when I'm telling you, the bottom line for right now, for the world right now, this place is going into two things. You're going to die or you're going to live. That's it. Because this all boils down to war.
Yes, it does.
It boils down to conflict, right? Literal armed conflict, right? So you're going to have on one side war, famine, pestilence, disease, right? You're
Wow.
going to deal with I mean, this is going to be a ugly thing on one side, or you're going to leave from that and leave that where it is and come and build, right?
Why are we as a people so afraid to step out and leave the very place that they say they hate?
I mean, you have to understand, I believe it's a fear of being wrong.
Okay.
So you want what you believe to be right so bad because you've believed it for so long
Mm,
that if you take a moment and assess that it has never worked and it never will, then you feel a sense of shame about that.
mm,
So you constantly looking for leaders and groups to go out and do the thing, and you see some success and then you just get swept in. So
mm,
it's easier for you to believe that a kingdom will fall out of the sky and the plumbing will be attached and the electrical will be hooked up. It's got Wi-Fi communications, right?
mm-hmm,
It's easy to believe that you can get sucked up by a kidnapping, an angelic kidnapping, taken to heaven with all of your wickedness. But because you believe this one thing, it's easy to be kidnapped, taken to heaven, and then come down on a floating city and it just plug itself into the earth, right?
wow.
Like a wall in the socket. This is easier to believe than you have to get up
Mm,
and admit that you were the people who sinned, and you have to get up and rebuild your ancient civilization yourself.
mm.
You have to take control of building your ancient civilization yourself, recognizing there's nobody to rescue you but you yourself.
Well, the scriptures tell us, the manuscript tells us, work and be strong.
Yeah, that's if you got our manuscript.
Right, right.
Here's the problem. I'm gonna point out this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're in Islam, you can't get past the second chapter because Prophet Muhammad said, "Children of Bani Israel, return to the law of Moses, because it was given with perfection and light."
Mm.
Every true prophet tells the children of Israel to return to the law of Moses,
Wow.
right? If you go to the New Testament,
Mm-hmm.
Yeshua, Jesus, he said, "Children of Israel, return to the law of Moses,"
Mm.
right? Now, that means stop. You cannot read past that point. This book, none of this is for you.
Right,
Mind your business.
right.
So until we correct that and get rid of,
Mm.
isolate these other books, come back, learn our culture, and keep the manuscripts of our law, then we can proceed,
Right,
right? Now, you say, but these books don't have this and they don't say, you have the wrong books.
right.
We have the books that do say what to do with details,
Yes, it does.
but you have to come and you have to participate.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to do these things if, that's the big word now,
If.
if you want to succeed,
Mm. Wow.
right? If you don't want to succeed, if you want to die where you are because you believe you are so safe, you can pray it away, you have a powerful name that you can call, go ahead and die with it. Put your life on the line,
Right.
right? Because, everybody else has died believing that, and nobody has passed on anything.
Yes. Yes. Or that they can fight Satan and win the battle.
You're not winning.
You're not winning. You're not.
You're not winning. So we have to come to this reality. I'm glad that this guy did this. This is a topic that we are currently on, that
Yeah.
we're currently dealing with. I've been reading you the law. So if you've been listening to the podcast or watching our YouTube channel, this is we're serious about this,
Yes, we are.
right? I got a team of engineers we're working it with. We have already established relationships. We have already established connections so that we can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And we're out here, right? We're out here in the Middle East,
Yes, we are.
right? Is there anyone else? No. I don't care who's doing it in Africa. You won't have it. You can go to Negro land or Weeder land or whatever you find on some ancient map. You'll find there's nothing but war and corruption there too.
Right.
Everybody's trying to now get their wheels going and stand up because it's become a free for all and a land grab because
Right.
everybody's attacking everybody, claiming what they believe, starting a lot of small wars all over the world right now. There was attack just yesterday. Turkey invaded northern Syria because they want to attack the Kurds.
Wow.
Now, I'm just telling you what the situation is, right? So you got more than the war in Ukraine. You have this situation in Turkey. China and Taiwan is also on the verge. Everybody is taking sides, and there is no middle ground,
Right.
right?
And I saw where the rebels there in Africa went after those in Congo.
I mean, you're going to have that because
Yeah.
the true indigenous people of Africa want their land back.
Right.
Right? Everybody's going there robbing them. And even our people are there living, occupying, right? Because they don't want to come back and abide by this law, by this manuscript. And we have to take that into assessment.
Yes, we do.
So we have to take accountability for that. You're staying in oppression simply because you refuse to acknowledge and obey the truth. Well, die. You know what I'm saying? If you can't accept the truth, if the truth is to life and you reject the truth, then you want to die. You really want to. It says, I set before you a blessing and a curse, life and death. Choose life.
And everybody wants to live the law. Well, here's an opportunity for you to live the law because you definitely can't live the law where you are.
So if you want to,
Right.
we're here.
Yes.
If not, we're going to continue with or without.
Yes.
You know, everybody has a claim that they are righteous. But when it comes down to actually doing the small things that the law command, they refuse to do it.
Yes, they do.
So this is the test, right? This is the tail of the tape because we're coming into some very crucial times and some very crucial days. We're gonna see, right? There's nothing else, nothing is being hidden, right? You're starting to see how the system works and how it works against you. Here's your time and opportunity to step up and prove that you are one of the righteous remnant. Because you're going to have to come out of the lands of your captivity back here. And you're going to need some establishment. You're going to need food. You're going to need a place to live.
Right.
And you're going to need to have some type of work. And if we don't own those things in your time of need, there is no way for us to get out of the situation.
You know, it's something that you said the other day that I've really been pondering on. The greatest fight as a people that we are experiencing there in America is we're fighting to be accepted. That's something that's not going to happen there. We're not going to ever be accepted there. And that's what our greatest fight. We're fighting a no-win battle because you're not supposed to be accepted.
And this is not just America, this is everywhere.
Yeah.
So if you're fighting, every time you fight for your rights in any country, right, then you're fighting to be accepted. And you're not going to be. We're going to wrap up this podcast. You know, it was a great opportunity to talk about this. We'll see you guys in our next episode. One step, one step.
One step.